when everyone's creating to the art and contributing and writing, to me it's more rewarding than just, sitting in my living room writing songs by myself and then performing them like that.
Sorry, so sorry, I meant to stay, but my time had come. No one's really to blame. Won't you help me? Please help me. I need to say what I feel inside, but I'm so ashamed. Now as the days roll on by, the paychecks, the look in our eyes tells me I should be more than I am. Well, I'm not, so don't heap me on top of that cheap pile of hand-me-downs, so as I won't fall. I'm so used, but still have some use after all. Tired, so tired of apathy. Can you hear this? Won't you listen to me? I am singing and playing for honesty. Rhyme is reason, truth, beauty. The Sandman won't wake you from sleep. No need to start subtracting sheep. Tell me, what have you done with our dreams? Maybe find them again, pass them on to your friends, so you'll hand me down, so as I won't fall. I'm so used, but still have some use after all. Well, I felt the tug and went straight for the door. Honestly, thought it was right. Still, I can remember my heart on the floor and the image of you in my mind. So please hand me down, so as I won't fall. I'm so used, but still have some use after hand me down, so as I won't fall. I'm so used, but still have some use after all. Sorry, so sorry.
Hey, thanks for coming, Lee. Glad to have you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's talk about forming bands, because you do a lot of solo work and very soulful, meaningful solo work. Why get other people involved too?
Well, I don't know. I've always enjoyed the camaraderie.
Yeah.
Playing by yourself is rewarding, but when you have friends and you can be, create something, greater than the sum of the parts. It's kind of like magic. I just enjoy that feeling, and it's like when I first started playing music, it was always my friends goading me to get into it, joining their band, playing in the basement or their garage, and us just, goofing around like a gang, So I don't know. I'm actually happier in a band if I can, because I don't know. I'm not like some lead singer types that they like the spotlight on them and always want it to be centered on them. I like to share it with other people and that,
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, because you can be a lead singer and then the band is just the faceless thing behind you.
Yeah.
But having a band as a unit, as a team, is a whole different feeling.
Oh, totally. And anytime it changes just one member, the dynamic changes so much. And when everyone's creating to the art and contributing and writing, to me, it's more rewarding than just, sitting in my living room writing songs by myself and then performing them like that.
Yeah, well, there's a certain kind of magic, as you say, communicating with an audience all by yourself.
Sure.
But and then coordinating it with everyone else. Is it easier almost because you can lean on your friends?
Well, I mean, I work in software engineering, so it's kind of like the same analogy. It's like herding cats sometimes because you've all got these distinct personalities, and you're all trying to get them kind of going in the same direction. Plus, you hope you all have the same tastes and that you all like each other, and you're all equally committed. And to get all those things to line up, it's not easy.
You got to have at least some of that, or the band isn't going to happen. Is it?
Exactly. But if you can last more than like 5 years, oh my gosh,
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about the first band you were in and why you got into it.
Oh gosh. Well, I used to play with friends the funny thing is, I originally when I was a kid, I wanted to be a drummer. But I came from more, humble means, and before I knew it, all my friends who had more money or, indulgent parents,
Well, they had the big drum sets.
they bought the drum sets, and then all my friends were like elbowing me, going, "Hey, you need to buy a guitar, otherwise you're going to get stuck on bass."
Yeah, it's
right?
only $50 at the used store.
Exactly.
Right?
So I ran off and got this used guitar and a little plastic amp, and but the first time we actually played out, we were called this band called Respectables, and it was great because we played some talent shows in high school, and I think I was a sophomore then. By the time I actually played in front of people, I started when I was like 13, but I was like 15 then, and I think we did the Greg Kinn song, the breakup song.
Oh, right.
And we did like an Undertones cover, the Irish band. We did I think this song's Teenage Kicks. And then we did some Paul Collins beat songs, power pop type stuff, And this is all, I want to say early 80s. So.
Well, if you were still a kid, and were you kind of a shy kid?
A little bit. I mean, I was somewhere in the middle there. I mean, I wasn't extremely insular or anything like that, but I wasn't a major extrovert, nothing. And it's funny because I wasn't like your frontman, lead singer type of guy. I was just happy being, a player in the band, But because I was the only guy who could play and sing at the same time or could develop that coordination, they all went, you get to be the lead singer now. And, you know how it is if you ever play with some people, some musicians, they just like, no, I don't want to sing regardless. It's like, no singing.
Don't want to be out front.
Don't want to do backup vocals, don't do anything. So I had a drummer and a bassist who were just like, no, you do all the singing, it's fine. And so I had to kind of, they all took a step backwards.
It probably helped you bring yourself out by degrees instead of just hitting solo right away.
Oh, totally.
Right.
Yeah, it totally helped me develop any kind of confidence or, come to the realization that you're not going to die out there or they're not going to kill you.
Well, when you're talking to people who are going to be in a band with you, isn't it kind of like, speed dating? you're talking to folks who are trying to see what things fit. What do you need to fit to be able to be in a band with someone?
Well, that's a good question because, the last few years with technology the way it is, it's either on like Facebook or hitting open mics or even Craigslist. And you'll say, hey, if you find that, you describe what you're like an ad for a band and you say, this is the kind of genre, this is the kind of acts we like, this is the kind of style, what we're interested in. Yeah, you usually, even before we even play a note, we'll say, see if they can meet us for coffee and just kind of BS for a while and see if there's even that because I think one of the things I've learned is, I've played with some extraordinary musicians, but they're either like prima donnas or they're just there's just not that right chemistry.
Well, that's the thing. You got to spend a lot of time with someone.
Exactly, and even just to know that you like them or could get along with them enough to play, because you know that there's going to be at least 1 or 2 practices a week and gigs, and you're going to spend a lot of time with each other. So you got to find that if you can even stand them to have a coffee with.
It's not enough just being a musician.
Not really, not for me anyway. At least for a good band, because you all want to be kind of on the same frequency,
If you're doing studio work, you can have someone in and never even say a word.
Oh,
they
true.
Put the guitar lead on your track, you're done.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. And there's something nice about that, but...
Wasn't there an emotional exchange that happens when you're playing in a band? If you're really getting it right, you have to have the right kind of personalities so that you can resonate off each other. And a lot of communication is with eye blinks and looks and head fakes and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, and just gestures and things like that. And especially I'm kind of notorious. The guys always kid me, but they give me a hard time that I'll put weird changes in here or breaks, and it either forces them to really learn the material or actually just to read my body language better.
Well, a good band is going to follow you on that. You're going to be going the same direction.
Exactly.
Well, with your band now, the Hey Nows, one of your co-leader in it just left.
Yeah,
he moved way up north.
It was almost a year now. And he went over to Nevada. Roger Trott, great guy. Still keep in touch with him, but he moved outside a convenient, place where he could play with us on a regular basis, and it was hard because
was it like getting divorced?
Oh yeah. Well, not like a divorce, separation, if you will, because it's all amicable and everything else, and he even encourages us to still play a couple of his songs, or actually all of his songs, but we still cherry picked a couple that we like, that we do well. But yeah, he had to go where he had to go for his professional reasons and stuff like that.
So how did that affect the band? How did you fill his space?
I don't think we still have quite filled it. Well, I mean, it was like losing a limb almost, because me and him were the 2 guys who started out as just 2 guys playing guitar, singing harmonies, and maybe busking around.
Because you were a duo. And then you added parts. Why did you add parts?
Well, back then that was Roger's idea, because he wanted the sound to fill out and stuff. And first we added a percussionist, and then we added a bassist, and he's still with me. And we've been through a few different percussionists over the years, and we've had lead guitarists too over time, and soloists, and. But right now we're just a trio for the most part, with some guest musicians who join us once in a while. But we are always entertaining, expanding, because we've been as big as 5 at one time. But back to Roger though, we had a healthy competition with songwriting too. That was great, because he showed up with this suitcase full of songs. They would slowly introduce, and they're all one better than the next. Yeah. And I was like, oh crap, I've got to write some more songs. But I challenged myself, because I didn't want to go back to stuff I'd written when I was in my 20s and 30s. I wanted something to be more relevant and where I'm at now. So it forced me to write more material, and I kind of miss that, because now I write, but not as prolifically as I used to, because the whole idea was we'd bounce off each other. We'd do one of my songs, one of his songs, one of my songs, one of his songs, and we'd write a couple together. Then we'd do back and forth, and it'd give me a break vocally and him a break as well. And it was great. It was a bit closest I could probably imagine to having a Lennon McCartney type relationship.
Well, how do you find another Roger then?
I've been looking. I mean, and it's still open. Entertaining the opportunity or the options, but we've tried a few people, but they generally have their own thing going on, and they don't want to commit too fully, or something in their life's going on where they, just had kids or something, and you're like, oh, see you in 10 years kind of thing.
Yeah, that's part of the troubles, because most musicians have other things going on as well.
Totally.
What's your idea of the perfect fit for a bandmate? How would you describe that generically?
Oh gosh. Somebody exactly like me. No, I kid.
You wonder. It's kind of like when you're dating or getting married. do you date yourself? Do you
No,
marry yourself?
no, you don't. Well,
How
if you-
much opposite and how much similar do you need?
Well, and when you look at my wife too, she's like almost the polar opposite of me, but we get along great, except for certain things like sense of humor is very similar and things like that. But on a lot of other fronts, we're completely different or opposites. And even me and Roger, we got along well, but we were quite different. I mean, he was very easygoing, mellow, pragmatic at points to certain things, voice of reason, calm. Me, I'm
bubbly.
Calling him up, going, what did they mean by that? Oh, I'm freaking out. What's going on? And he'd say, settle down. It's all good. Yeah. And things like that. So we balanced each other really well and stuff. So, but our bassist Andrew's good at that too. He's Mr. Mellow now, so he kind of keeps me in check.
Well, it's a strange dynamic you have to do. You have to have something that's similar enough, but you also have to have some difference. Otherwise, it's boring as all get out, right?
And then you have to see if they can play and write, and you like what they do musically. It's funny because they both have to be going at the same time.
Why don't you just say and then just do your solo stuff?
Like I said, when it's happening, it's worth it to me. I mean, playing out and just playing by yourself is rewarding, and I'll do it if I have to. But when you get everything going, it's just funner to share it with somebody. It's like seeing a great movie. If you're there to see it and you're enjoying a great movie, sure, you're enjoying it, but you can't lean over to the person next to you and go, man, did you see that explosion? Or wow, wasn't that freaking awesome? The whole fill in the blank. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know, I'm a social beast, I guess. That's it.
Well, plus you get someone to help carry all the equipment.
Exactly.
And that helps. And help you with the board.
That's right. Although we're getting smaller and smaller. It's just a beautiful thing about technology. I don't have to haul these huge plywood mains around.
Nice? Yeah.
Or the amps, the 100-watt amps and 412 cabinets and stuff.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the day when it's all about this big.
Oh, it's getting there, though. It is. It's amazing. Our bassist, even, he has this, I can't remember the make of it, but it's got all this internal baffling and folded ports and stuff, and it's like a Class D bass amp, and it fills a room, but it's like this big, and it's like a lunchbox. It's amazing. Yeah,
you're not seeing that if you're playing solo.
No, that's true.
Well, this has been terrific. Thank you very much for coming.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
I'm moving to Mars. Yeah, I think I'd like to try me out a life in the stars. My friends all say I need a place to air out my heart, so I'm moving to Mars. This life has been crazy. Sometimes I think I'm not really here. Every time I turn around, another friend is going down, and I can't see her face for the tears.